Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Jackie's got a sports show when you are tuning into that sports show. It's best out with my hands because I'm trying to come up with some energy. I really should be taking a nap, but I have an obligation to put out daily podcasts. I have an obligation to put out college football predictions and it not be early in the morning tomorrow. How you doing? How's your family? You excited for Thanksgiving? Tell me what you gonna eat. Unfortunately, with all the schedules, the working, I won't be able to spend it with my family, unfortunately. And I'm so tired of I open my computer and Discord immediately opens. I downloaded Discord because, my boys play on different consoles, so when we get a crossplay game, we just talk on Discord, so don't judge me. But every time I open my computer, it opens. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm not technologically literate, I know, but Jack, you're a podcaster. That don't mean nothing. Jack's got a sports show. You are tuning into that sports show. As I said, make sure to like, rate, and share wherever you can, whether that be word of mouth or any social media platform you have. Today we're going to go over what I think about last night's game, Thursday Night Football, Bengals, Ravens, and then we'll go through the college football weekend, some of my favorite games, and there's a lot of trash. There's a lot of trash being played tomorrow. So we're just going to go over my favorites. And yeah, I want to start off. Though. My boy Champ Pryor. If you have TikTok, go follow him. He makes good content. He has this little sports talk show that he sometimes posts clips to his story. And I was seeing that they were talking about whether or not Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer. He doesn't have the accolades. He has 2 rings. That's it. Well, Jack, he's like top 10 and top 15 in pretty much every stat. I don't care. Any solid starting quarterback is going to end up top 10, top 15, and pass a lot of all-time greats just because of how the league is right now. I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is in the Hall of Fame. But I'm not bringing this up because one of the guys said that Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer, and I disagree. I'm bringing this up because one of the worst things I think you can do when you are involving yourself in sports talk is have an opinion that's not really your own. What do I mean by that? On this talk show, this dude said Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer because the NFL really likes 2 rings and they're going to put him in. I want your opinion. I don't care about what the NFL's opinion is. Is Ben Roethlisberger a Hall of Famer in your book? In your book, not the NFL's book, in your book, is he a Hall of Famer? I don't want to hear, well, he might get in because the NFL likes this. I'm not talking to the NFL. I'm not talking to so-and-so to get the NFL's opinion. It's like I made a video on Bladen Kirk. Don't know Bladen Kirk, another TikToker. If you're in the podcast world, Stay Hot Pod, one of those guys. He made a video talking about Eli Manning and how Eli Manning is probably going to get in because he won 2 rings. Mind you, this guy says over and over and over again, preaches about how winning is not a quarterback stat. I'm somewhat being won over to the side of winning is not a quarterback stat. I don't think I'll ever be fully there, but that's a discussion for another day. But he goes on and on about how winning isn't a QB stat, but then says that Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer because 2 rings. And when I pushed back on this, he actually commented on my video saying, "Oh, I was just going over the criteria." I'm not looking for the NFL's opinion I'm not looking for NFL's opinion presented by Bladen Kirk. I'm looking for Bladen Kirk's opinion. I'm on Bladen Kirk's page. I am on so-and-so's page. I want your opinion. I don't want the NFL's opinion. I don't want the NBA's opinion, the MLB's opinion, whatever sports league. I want your opinion. If I'm asking you if Phillip Rivers, if Ben Roethlisberger, if name a name is a Hall of Famer, I don't want to hear about, well, the NFL likes this. I don't want to hear about that. If you were on the committee and you were voting, would you put him in the Hall of Fame? That's what I want to hear. Maybe I'm being a dick. Let me know. Tweet at me at jjester615. Comment on the TikTok promo clip. Whatever. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I hate that. That and inconsistency. I hate inconsistency more than anything. I didn't want to bring this up, but now I'm on it. I was listening to Strong Opinion Sports, and I like the show. I like Zach to a point. There's some things that kind of whatever. Again, different story. But he talked about in this past show about how the Packers are going to move off of Jordan Love, and they should move off of Jordan Love, and the Falcons should move off of Desmond Ritter, and the Steelers should move off of Kenny Pickett. He's been saying this over and over again, while at the same time telling you, "Oh, I give quarterbacks time. I like to give quarterbacks time." No, you don't. No, you don't. Desmond Ritter played in 8 games. And all 8 of those games, this guy was talking about how the Falcons should get rid of Desmond Ritter. This is Jordan Love's first season as the full-time starter, and you're already saying the Packers should move off of him. Kenny Pickett, different story. We are almost 2 full years in now, and he had a good season and a below-average season. But don't tell me you give quarterbacks time and then do that. Right? Am I being too harsh? I give quarterbacks time. I give quarterbacks 2 years. 2 years to show me that you could be something in this league. 2 years. That's why I'm not going to say anything about Kenny Pickett. And you could say, Jack, Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for, 2-3 years. And that doesn't mean that, yes, he was taking mental reps. That doesn't mean he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback coming out the gate. It just doesn't. I don't know what world you're living in. Well, Aaron Rodgers did it. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterback talents we have ever seen. So why is he the bar? This is all. And there's a couple just with everybody. I hate inconsistency. I try so hard to be consistent with my logic, with how I compare players, and it's hard when you have a bias, and it's hard when judging I don't know. It's hard to be consistent. I know. But it's also easy to follow your own logic and make sure you are being consistent. I don't understand why everybody whatever. I'm done with the ramble. Let's get into the actual show. So Thursday Night Football, the Ravens trounced the Bengals. I believe it was 34-20, in which I wish I still had my predictions. I predicted, I think 31-28, something like that. And the story of this game is unfortunate because Joe Burrow went down with a wrist injury, which we have no idea how long he's going to be out. Mark Andrews went out with an ankle injury, which there could be a whole thing on the hip drop tackle. Everybody's talking about ban the hip drop tackle. Mark Andrews is out for the season now. And Lamar. I think Lamar's injury doesn't have a lot of people talking, and I don't understand why. For the second half of the game, or at the very least until I stopped watching late fourth quarter, Lamar, every time he was on the sideline, he had to have a heating pad wrapped around his ankle so he can move correctly. That's not good. That's not good. And it's getting later in the season, and I hate to put the stereotype, but it is a stereotype, and it gets proven again and again and again. Running quarterbacks get hurt. Running quarterbacks are injury prone. And if Lamar Jackson is showing these signs, it's not good. It's not sustainable. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe he's fully healthy next week. They do have a long week, so maybe I'm tripping. But I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. Not everybody is talking about Lamar's ankle and how Lamar got banged up in this game. Is he 100% for the rest of the season? I don't know. And how much does Mark Andrews affect that offense? Yes, the offense still looked incredible without him, but are you really relying on a old Odell Beckham Jr. and then Nelson Aguilar to pop off? to carry your offense. If you're going to rely on that, I I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet my money on it. So what did I get from this game? The Bengals season is over, which sucks for them because Joe Burrow got healthy and we were on this train of the Bengals are back. The Bengals are back. The Bengals are cooking. And then they're not because Joe Burrow gets hurt again. And that's really unfortunate. I do know that next year is going to go absolutely stupid, though. That Bengals team is going to come out with a vengeance next season. For the Ravens, I don't feel confident about them. Yes, their defense plays phenomenal, but Lamar getting hurt, Mark Andrews getting hurt, spells disaster. So what do I pull? I think the Steelers win this division. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So let's get into the college football weekend this Saturday. And like I said, there's a lot of garbage. I'm not going to go over matchups like Bama Chattanooga. Uh, there are some games that could be interesting, like Kansas State could be interesting, but I'm not really that invested into it. North Carolina Clemson could be interesting. I would put that on upset alert, but I didn't really care enough to look too much into it because North Carolina was on that little bit of a slide. Yeah, they fixed it, but so let's get into the games that I think have a shot at being good and games that I just have to talk about. So let's start off with the game that I think is least interesting. Georgia going to Neyland to face the Tennessee Volunteers. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. This is going to suck. This is going to be so bad. And luckily, I don't have a huge emotional attachment into Tennessee. And this is what I got to say. Some Georgia fans fear this Tennessee team. I don't understand it because even when the Vols are on, they don't come close to the team Georgia is. Now, it is in Neyland. The stadium's going to be rocking. But does that really make that big of a difference? If this Tennessee is off, this team has to be firing on all cylinders, including cylinders they don't have, in order to compete with Georgia. I think Georgia wins this something like 50-13. This is going to be awful, and I'm going to dread hearing about this all week. Could it be on upset alert? Sure. If the Vols could find some way to get Jalen Wright, Dylan Sampson, and the other running back I keep forgetting, if they pop off and this offense gets rolling, sure, sure. The defense is top 20. The defense is top 20, but that Georgia offense has gotten better and better and better and better. If this was earlier in the season, sure, I think that this has a chance of being a little upset. Sure, I think this has a chance of being close. But late in the season, when Georgia has gotten better every single week, and Beck has just gotten better every single week, and the Georgia team is the healthiest it's been in a couple weeks, give me Georgia 50-13. Let's move on to Utah and Arizona. As if y'all have tuned in the past couple weeks, I've been an Arizona fan, or I've liked Arizona, and they're facing a very good Utah team coming off, not getting it done against Washington, but it seems like they figured out that offense and they still have an incredible defense. And Arizona has been playing Pac-12 teams very, very, very well, beating some, losing to others. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. And a lot of people may think that this isn't going to be a high scoring game. I think it is. I think Utah pulls this out 40-34 in an overtime win. I think this goes into overtime. I think these teams are both very good Pac 12 teams. but I think Utah eventually pulls that out in the end because Arizona really they love beating up on the middle of the pack, Pac-12 teams, and they love competing with the top of the Pac-12, but they can't beat the top of the Pac-12. And Utah is one of the teams at the top of the Pac-12. It's going to be a pretty short episode because we only got one more game to talk about. Washington going to Oregon State. This is going to be one of the shortest episodes I ever put out. It's probably going to be like 20 minutes, maybe. Washington going to Oregon State. Oregon State's offense coming off a 62 performance against whatever podunk school they faced last week. Let's get this straight. 6th offense versus the 19th offense. Of course, 6th being Washington, 19th being Oregon State. Every stat I'm going to list off, the first is Washington, the second is Oregon State. And the real thing you should really look at, really, I'm talking really, diamonds shining bright because they really diamonds, is Washington has the 99th ranked defense, while Oregon State has the 32nd ranked defense. This is going to be a very, very good game. This is what you got to keep in mind. The Pac-12 love to eat each other. The Pac-12 love to eat each other, knock each other out of contention for the college football playoffs, allowing a second SEC team to come in, which scares me. Washington honestly should win this game. I know their defense is very poorly ranked, but that defense plays well when it needs to be. When it needs to be a good defense, it will be a good defense. I mentioned it in the Oregon game. Situationally, it is a good defense. Overall, not that great of a defense. So what do I think? I think Washington wins this 42. Hold up. Washington wins this 42-35. I think this should push them finally into the top 4 in the college football playoffs. It absolutely should. That's what I gotta say about this college football weekend. Real quick, let me see if there's any other games. Since we got a little time, since this episode's a little shorter, let's see if there's any more matchups that kind of grab my eye. Let's see. Michigan and Maryland. Oh, that's going to be a phenomenal game. Louisville and Miami might be that might be a fun game to look out for. Oklahoma BYU, I would put on upset alert. BYU is a very decent football team, and Oklahoma has been overrated all season. Just scrolling through here. North Alabama, Florida State, upset alert. Absolutely. Florida and Missouri might be a decent game. I honestly hope Florida upsets them because Missouri is ranked top 10 to make Georgia's win over them look better. So put that on upset alert just because. Other than that, yeah, it's a lot of garbage, a lot of mid. There's only like 3 games that I expect to be truly phenomenal games. And even then, Georgia and Tennessee is not going to be that good. Jackie's got a sports show. You just tuned into that sports show. I apologize for being so short, but hey, maybe that's better. Let me know. Tweet at me at JJester615. Tweet at the show, Jackie's Show with 2 S's. Follow me on TikTok at Jaggy Boy Sports. Daily sports takes. Try to post around 4 videos a day. Email me, oldjackieboy1021 at gmail.com. That is OLE JackieBoy1021 at gmail.com. And as always, video versions of the podcast are available on YouTube. And for YouTube, the audio is available. Spotify for podcasters, I believe. I don't think anybody uses that really except for pushing out their podcast. So Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, trying to push it out to a couple more platforms, but that's the platforms we're rocking with right now. Jackie's got a sports show. I appreciate you tuning into this sports show. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Peace, love, and pixie dust.